Sup team, and do you know what really grinds my gears? The amount of Jevil slander that I've seen lately from people. And I mean, you know what? Honestly, fair first judgment, because Spamton has gotten such a massive spotlight in the game, what with especially Chapter 3, really. Loki, after Chapter 4, he kind of fell off, which, you know what, that's a good thing. He's had enough time! He's had enough time! But what with Tenna and the mics, and maybe even Friend now, it's like, it's not even fair! It's not even fair for our freaking clown from Chapter 1. Whenever I see someone bring up just how much attention Spamton gets, they always have to drag my boy Jevil into it. They always have to go into excruciating detail about how cooked Jevil is. Like, what did my man do? Why is he catching strays? We have 3 whole chapters left in this game. That is 3 opportunities for Jevil to reabsorb every single drop of aura that he has lost, like a sponge, like a beautiful aura farming sponge. I think that Jevil will achieve such a thing sooner than we think. I think that Chapter 5 is about to be prime time for Jevil to have what I would consider a generational comeback. Keep in mind, this isn't like a theory or anything. I honestly feel like we kind of attach that word to simple wishes or predictions too much. This is kind of just me screaming into the void, like begging that my boy gets more content. I fucking love Jevil. I understand how unrealistic all this is, considering that Chapter 5 is probably Flower King. I'm a Flower King truther. I really want Jevil to come back. If you guys have any ideas for how Jevil can come back, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear any and all ideas. Just please shoot those ideas at me, and don't shoot Jevil. Don't kill him, please. Now, why do I think that Chapter 5 is quote-unquote prime time for the Jester's fabled return? Why would Jevil ever be in the fucking Flower King? Did I even play the game? Hell yes, I did, Buckaroonie. I am more confident than ever. I am something of a Flower King truther myself. Don't worry. I'm pretty confident that Dark World will be there and not the festival, considering that Jackenstein claims that the festival takes place at night, which probably means that the Dark World takes place before the festival, since, I mean, come on, we just had a Dark World that was at night, and then we had a Dark World in the afternoon, like early afternoon on the same day. I think it'll be fair if the game kind of returns to form with when we encounter these Dark Worlds. So you know what? I'm going to have a bit of fun here today, though, team. Not that I necessarily believe it with my whole heart of hearts, but what if Chapter 5 isn't at the Flower King? What if it's at the festival instead? You know, the event that's described that turned the town into a whole-ass carnival. And you know what's at a carnival? Motherfucking clowns! And you know what clowns are? Jesters! They started as jesters. Jevil's clown ass would love a festival Dark World, dude. He would have a field day. His ass would never turn to stone. He'd be on the merry-go-rounds and the gravitron, and dude, he'd be having the time of his life. I'm honestly a bit surprised that the idea of Jevil reappearing inside of a hypothetical festival Dark World has kind of lost momentum in the fanbase, because, like, we've had this exact idea before. I remember there was a time, I forget if it was in 2024 or early 2025, where a lot of people made their own concepts for a Jevil rematch, going as far as make, like, fully animated, like, idle concepts and tracks. I'll probably play one of the tracks right now if I can find one. Ooh, holy voice crack. Ooh. And I mean, yes, concepts plural. This was a popular idea. So where did they go, guys? Like, I'm so surprised that I haven't seen that idea resurface after Chapter 4, because while a Flower King Dark World is a lot more likely, a festival Dark World is also even more likely. And then, hey, you know, I'm saying this is Chapter 5, but low-key, if we take some notes from EvanTube, crazy that EvanTube's making Deltarune animations, by the way, but if we take some notes from EvanTube, maybe the festival's Chapter 6, maybe my video about where we know Chapter 6 might be is wrong, maybe I was completely wrong, and that's okay, it's awesome. Whenever the festival is, it is still more likely to be a Dark World than ever before. I'm just surprised that a Jevil rematch has not come up again because of that. But who knows what route the game will take. with where Dark Worlds go, really. Now, time to have even more fun. Ever heard of Bibliox? The book goons from Chapter 4, those ones. Well, one of their attacks has you choose correct spellings of words, and the words range from... Actually, not even range from, this is just a list of them. There's gallery, flashback, sword, and atrium. You notice anything about those words? They're all soundtracks from the game. Current soundtracks. But what's even crazier is that there's actually a few more words. There's roots, festival, synthesis, and amphitheater. This is Bibliox theory, which has been a pretty popular idea as of late. I don't know who made it originally, I forget. But basically, the idea is that those 4 unknown words, roots, festival, synthesis, synthesis, and amphitheater. All these tracks are probably future song titles, considering we already have digital roots and bit roots. We can safely assume that there will be a track called Roots. And we can also safely assume that Festival's gonna have a track. I can't see why it would be like a remix of Hometown. I mean, maybe it's a remix of Hometown, but it's gonna be called Festival is the point. And Synthesis, honestly, I don't know when Synthesis could play. If maybe that's like the final credits theme of the game or some shit, and Bibliox is just dropping it. That'd be kind of crazy. But Amphitheater. I wanna talk about Amphitheater. An amphitheater is literally just like a Roman Colosseum. Yeah, like the ones where they fought lions and shit, the whole 9 yards. Now, as I'm saying that out loud, that has implications for Friend, actually, but I want to talk about how much potential an amphitheater would have. Jevil. Jevil, as a court jester, could realistically perform inside of one of those dang things. Like, think of an ancient rodeo clown, for example, if that makes any sense. That's my phone going off. My bad. Now, if a Dark World does end up being at the festival, then honestly, I can really easily imagine a Colosseum-like structure being made, because, I mean, Colosseums are for entertainment. Festival, carnival, basically would be entertainment, like sit down at a public venue entertainment. I can see a Colosseum forming from like a fucking merry-go-round or something. And do you know who has a merry-go-round as their battle's background? Pow! Jevil. Always bet on Jevil. And I have even more to say about Amphitheater. Jevil already has a track named Circus. You know, the... that one. And if you really think about it, a circus is kind of a modern-day Colosseum. People handle dangerous props and animals in the same vein as the Romans did, just in a, you know, albeit way safer environment, of course. I'm not saying fucking rodeo clowns or just typical clowns are fighting to the death here, no. They're not. But what I'm getting at here is that an amphitheater is a natural evolution of a circus and vice versa. So what if Jevil's track, Circus, has the ability to evolve into a track called Amphitheater in a hypothetical festival Dark World? It would just all add up way, way too well. So yeah, that's where I think he'll appear. The festival's like a carnival, and clowns like Jevil are, I don't fucking know, born there or something. Awesome! Now I would like to get into the meat and potatoes here. Why will Jevil appear? What story significance would Jevil, the Chapter 1 secret boss, who seemingly only has shit to do with Sham, have this late in the game? If we're going to top that neck-scratching, meth-fiending, acid-shriveling punk of a car salesman, then we need to think big here. Well, let me tell you, my dear, dear team members, that Jevil has relations with big, huge, massive things in Deltarune. Things that could go above and beyond Spamton. I'm serious. Spamton has big connections to a significant character in one chapter, Tenna, one that will likely not reappear. And he has loose connections with Friend compared to what I'm about to propose with Jevil. Jevil, on the other hand, has ties, very strong ties, to who will likely be the two, or at least two of the main antagonists of the entire game. The Knight and Friend. I just don't see people talking about this. Now, I say that phrase a lot. I don't want to call people stupid. I'm not calling myself super duper genius smart either. I'm sure someone has, I just haven't looked hard enough. We're all just having good fun here. First off, let's go over Jevil's connection to the knight, because I think that's the one that most people will remember, because, you know, it's a part of Chapter 4 after all. So, inside of Castletown's basement jail, King describes how Jevil was literally just a D1 Night Glazer. Like, meat riding that motherfucker. Now, this doesn't confirm that Jevil met the knight, since, as this video I literally just watched by RunePixel. Check out that video, by the way. Really good video. As RunePixel discusses, the secret bosses probably didn't get the Shadow Crystals, like, physically handed to them by the knight or friends. Like, oh, here you go. No. Because Spamton found it inside of the Neo machine in Queen's basement, and Gerson only got to see the knight, like, quickly fly into the upper floors of his study. And then he just ended up finding the crystal in, like, a drawer in his desk, I think? But I think that the fact that the knight brings up how much of a D1 Glazer Jevil is, in particular, makes me think that Jevil has a lot stronger of a connection with the knight, because we don't really have confirmation for how Jevil got the Shadow Crystal. This is basically our only tie if we assume that the knight has anything to do with Shadow Crystals, which it absolutely does. So honestly, I think the way to get closest to the knight, in this case, is to actually, you know, meet the guy. And I mean, in order to glaze somebody so hard, I feel like you'd have to at least see them. Like, you'd have to tell me a lot about somebody to make me glaze them as hard as Jevil does. Seriously. And also, as time goes on, you know, the knight is becoming more and more relevant to the story. Jevil absolutely has to, like, pipe up about it then, because the knight's only going to get more and more important, obviously. Jevil's gotta say something, man. He has to. He doesn't even have to appear. He just say something, little buddy. Mark my words, he will. Now, I would like to go over how Jevil connects to friend. This one line is crazy, and I know I think I've repeated this like 4 times, I keep saying it, but I have not seen a lot of people talking about this. Jevil, from what I remember, was the first character in Deltarune to bring up the concept of hell. Let me repeat myself. Jevil was the first character in the game to bring up the concept of hell, the tale of hell, the taking crawl hell, in all of Deltarune. Not only does he mention hell, but this is what he says. Soon the queen returns, and hell's roar bubbles from the depths. Excuse me? Hell's roar bubbles from the depths. That is 3 of the biggest buzzwords in one sentence. If you told me that was some, like, fan-made dialogue that someone made post-Chapter 3 and 4, I would believe you. But this is Chapter 1, before we even knew about the roaring, before we even knew about the tale of hell, and even friend. Dude, the hell, the roaring, the depths, the freaking depths! This guy, Jevil, he knows so much, dude. And if shit is about to go down, and if someone's gonna spill the tea to us on how it'll go down, it's gonna be Jevil. 100%. It's either gonna be Rouse or it's gonna be Jevil. Because Jevil is edging us with this information. Now, as I'm sure we all know, if you don't know, then go watch my We Know Where Chapter 6's Dark World Is video. I'll get an info card up there if I remember. As we all know, friend is more than likely the tale of hell. This means that Jevil probably knows about friend because he mentions hell. Maybe he's even seen friend. That could explain how Jevil got the Shadow Crystal in the first place. Now, referencing RunePixel's great video again, since that video actually inspired me to whip this up really quickly. Jevil was probably locked up long before the knight came to Card Kingdom, as Jevil was described to have been locked up a long time ago, while the knight was described, I think, by King to have come recently in Chapter 1. So if Jevil didn't meet the knight in person like I thought, then maybe friend is the one delivering the Shadow Crystals, and maybe friend is the one that could have physically seen Jevil. I don't know about all that, but it could make sense here. And it would explain something else that I actually don't have in the script. I'm going to try and find out who came up with this on Twitter, because I saw it one time. But in the background during Ralsei's flashback, where we see Friend in the flesh, pink and yellow ain't the only colors there, baby. You know what else is in the back there? Green and purple. That ugly green and purple. The same one as Jevil. Okay, maybe it's not the exact same. I have to like go in there with a color picker. But we have not seen that palette anywhere else besides Jevil. Spamton absolutely has the pink and yellow by design. So, who's to say that Jevil doesn't have the green and purple by design? Just saying. Now going back to the main stuff though, if the knight isn't the one that turned Jevil and Spamton crazy, it was more than likely Friend. Or at least Friend probably acted like a middleman to turning them crazy, if I had to guess, because I mean Spamton's craziness is literally highlighted by the pink and yellow in his glasses. Friend definitely has something to do with it, we've all known that. In addition to Spamton actually, this is another thing that Jevil has like a one-up on Spamton with. Spamton has probably never met Friend directly then. Whoever screwed up Spamton, assuming it's either the knight or Friend, I'm more leaning toward Friend here, assuming that they did it to Spamton, like all over the phone, that means that Spamton probably never got to see them in person. Spamton has never seen Friend in the flesh, more than likely. Jevil, on the other hand, considering what I said earlier about King's dialogue, about him being a D1 Glazer, and about how that probably, like, singles him out as somebody who has a deeper connection with either the knight or maybe Friend, Jevil has probably seen Friend fucking in person. Straight up. That's aura. That is the definition of hype aura moments. There is nothing to back this up. Nothing at all. But, you know, this is all just for fun here. All just for fun. If Jevil has met Friend, that would just honestly be equally as crazy and satisfying as him meeting the knight. Honestly, it would almost be more insane. Because I think we're more obsessed with Friend than the knight as of now. Now, even if Jevil hasn't met Friend in the flesh, he at least knows so much about the guy. He's the first guy in the whole game to mention hell, to my understanding, outside like a swear. Like, come on. Hell, roaring, depths. You already know that Friend is some kind of device thing, because, you know, he has device in his name. Device, Friend. But this is one of the few pieces of dialogue in the game that directly ties him with the depths outside of his file name. And it also ties him with the freaking roaring? Maybe Friend will appear during the roaring? And, oh my god? Is Jevil literally outlining how Friend will appear? Only time will tell, team. So yeah, Jevil has insane potential to have a continental impact on the story of Deltarune. More so than Spamton. I'm being serious. Spamton doesn't have as strong of ties to any characters besides Tenna, who will likely not show up in any significant way again. And, while Spamton does have ties to Friend, Jevil's probably actually met that weirdo, while Spamton just couldn't have. Jevil doesn't even have to appear at this point to have an impact, because he could just say some bars, and it would be aura. Honestly, he doesn't even need to say anything. His past words and actions will probably be effective enough once shit hits the fan. From here on out, a nightmare will awaken in our hearts. Actually, not my heart, but in all the hearts of the freaking Jevil deniers. Jevil deniers be damned. My boy will have a comeback, and he will dance around and juggle flaming balls of "I told you so" on your graves. Yup, it is that serious. Nope, it's not. It's not that serious. I've just been itching to get these thoughts out for a good while now. I'm pretty confident that Jevil will be relevant again at some point. Like, Toby Fox wouldn't just, or anybody on the team for that matter, wouldn't just have Spamton be the super important guy and then shaft Jevil. That just feels weird to me, especially considering that we've kind of broken the pattern that Chapter 1 and 2 set of, like, the insane secret bosses knowing too much. Because, you know, the Knight, fucking roaring Knight. I mean, I guess you could count ERAM maybe, but I don't think ERAM has a Shadow Mantle. And then Gerson didn't even use the Shadow Crystal, and Gerson's not insane. I mean, he says he's crazy, but he's not insane. You know what I mean? Now, if none of what I just said comes true, there's at least one safeguard, and that is when we deliver the 5th and final Shadow Crystal to Sean at the end of Chapter 5. But that's kind of just because every single crystal holder is going to be relevant at that point. I'm sure Sean will like either mention all of them or they'll all connect to some big friend thing in some way. So I mean that's not nearly as interesting because they're all going to have weight. Maybe I just really want to see Spamton burn in flames of agony or something. Light motifs be damned. Alright, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Thank you. I really do, thank you. Comment down below. What I want you to comment down below. I want you to comment Shadow Crystal down below. If I am clear with how much I think Jevil will come back. Because I need to be Shadow Crystal clear. See what I did there? Shadow Crystal clear. Comment Shadow Crystal if you got this far. Make sure to subscribe to. Join the Discord server. Link in description. Consider channel memberships. $2.99. Probably got this video a little bit early. If not, actually now I'm thinking about it, you'll probably get an editing stream. I know the script's posted on there. There will be an editing stream. 1 or 2 editing streams. I do that for basically every single video. There's an editing stream for all of them. Alrighty. No pressure though. I understand. I try to make it affordable, but I understand. Stay hype for me and Ali Muhammad Mahmoud Musa Lightson's Ram Secret Boss ranking video, where we rank 70-something Ram Secret Boss themes. Literally all the ones I could find. That's coming out hopefully this Sunday or next week. Alright, sayonara.